you've been in the media a lot because of the whole Shakur dispute, right? With the contract and all that stuff.
Keep it real with you, they was really happy I ain't take the fight. They pushed that narrative of me being scared. Being scared had nothing to do with it. It was all about the money. Fighting is mental. It ain't all physical. Sure. I'm going into a fight where I'm going to another network. I gotta fight the network. I gotta fight Shakur. I gotta fight the judges. I gotta fight the rest. And I ain't happy with what I'm getting paid. Come on, I'm going in mentally, not where I need to be. I ain't no crash dummy. Something gotta make sense on my end.
Could we see a Frank Martin, Shakur sometime in the future?
For sure. They couldn't pay me what I wanted at that time, so the fight didn't happen at that time. Once I get a strap, we can double back, and then we can make something happen.
It's a lot of opportunity once that happens.
You heard it. You heard it. Frank Martin speaks out. What went wrong in the Shakur Stevenson fight, why the negotiations fell through. He reiterates it in a brand new interview. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Frank Martin speaks out and explains exactly why the Shakur Stevenson fight played out. You guys heard a snippet at the beginning, and he's expressing what went on and why the fight didn't go down like a lot of people had their hopes up that it would go down. He says we can double back. You know, I'm trying to get a strap, and then we could double back and make it a unification, and it's nothing. At that particular time, they couldn't pay me what I wanted, so the fight collapsed. He says that Shakur Stevenson, and I'm just paraphrasing, Shakur Stevenson, his side, or at least Shakur Stevenson, tried to make it like I was scared, but it ain't had nothing to do with being scared. The great Ego Stradamus strikes again. I'm gonna keep saying it every video. Everything I said right, y'all gonna give my credit. The crazy thing is we live in a time of boxing, TikTok, microwave society where people, they're so quick to be prisoners of the moment. Like, for example, Devin Haney looked spectacular versus Regis Prograis. But the fight before that, he fought Lomachenko, and people were saying that he lost. So now Devin Haney, everybody is singing his praises because he looks splendid. He had an amazing performance. But a lot of the same critics were saying, oh, Devin's overrated and all that. Lomachenko won and all this goofy stuff. But now how soon we forget. You see what I'm saying? And people do that. I mean, even with Shakur Stevenson, I haven't written Shakur Stevenson off. I'm just telling you, based on his last performance, it wasn't my favorite. And I've noticed a pattern when Shakur gets there with punchers that are like not one-dimensional. He tends to fight that way. He tends to fight negative like he did with Nakathila. So that's what I've said. I've never said that Shakur Stevenson is a terrible fighter and stuff. But again, we live in a society where people do those things and they're prisoners of the moment. And I repeat this strongly, I have never seen like a group of emotional men more so than when I got into boxing. Because like in my real life, I don't deal with that. I don't deal with emotional pansy men, you know what I'm saying? That's just not the energy I'm around. I've always hung out with like people who were older than me and had OGs and stuff like that, and people that I looked up to. So they were further along in life, had more life experiences than that. So I never really experienced that. I didn't really kick it with a lot of people that were way younger than me and immature and stuff like that. So I came up different. So to see the level of emotionality that some men have in boxing, like talking crazy on the internet and all that, I don't know. It's different times we live in. So when it comes to Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, for whatever reason, it seems like PBC fighters, they have to prove the most, do the most, and they're under the most scrutiny. Like you got guys, let's say on top rank fighter could fight whoever, like Navarrete could fight Isaac Dogbone or whatever 4 times and no one complains about it. But let it be Tank Davis fighting Esau Pitbull Cruz in a rematch and people will be like, oh no, this is horrible and Tank needs legacy fights and yada, yada, yada. But mark my words, I don't know if that's Tank's next fight. We'll find out. But if it is, I guarantee you it's going to do numbers. He's going to do a crazy live gate. So all this stuff y'all talking about is cap. Because if people are saying, oh, Tank needs legacy, why has he got so much attention every single time he fights? It just doesn't make sense. So as it pertains to Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, a lot of people did just that. Prisoners of the moment. They pick and choose their favorites. and they immediately outcasted Frank Martin and said he was to blame. Al Heyman's protecting him. Errol Spence is protecting him. And now he's coming out and really saying what he's said in other interviews after the collapse of the Shakur Stevenson fight. It's not Frank Martin or Shakur Stevenson's fault that ESPN got your hopes up and their reporters were saying the fight was done and everyone got all hyped up, only to find out it really wasn't done. That's why I try not to move like that, because this is my sport. I don't want to get y'all amped up on my channel and hyped up for a fight and then the fight don't happen. That's just not how I move. I'm not into that. I mean, I could clickbait y'all to death, and if y'all want to, I can prove it. You know, we could do a month test and I just put nothing but clickbait out. But that's not what I prefer to do. So hopefully you guys support and respect the real. You know, the cream always rises to the top. But Shakur badmouthed Frank Martin, said Frank was scared and ducking, and then went on to fight another southpaw that was a good fighter, kind of inexperienced at the higher levels. You know, he didn't have like a championship belt or anything like that, in Edwin De Los Santos. And Shakur put up arguably his worst performance as a pro. So all that stuff, people like jumped down Frank Martin's throat, pause, and said he's scared and stuff like that. It kind of looks dumb in hindsight. And Frank Martin also received a lot of hate because his last fight was tough. He fought an Olympian in Artem Harutyunyan, and people are like, oh, he was losing the fight, and I thought he would look better and all this and that. And the irony of it is Derek James said, you need to throw more offense. And as soon as Frank Martin was instructed by DJ to do that, he kicked up the offense and nearly stopped the Artem dude and had his face looking crazy. And the point I'm making is, if you look at it, if we go line for line, bar for bar, like I'm known to do, at the end of the day, Shakur Stevenson's performance versus Edwin De Los Santos, if Frank Martin received like bad marks for his performance versus Artem Harutyunyan, who really came to fight and was making it a fight, then you have to look at Shakur Stevenson's performance, and that was even more lacking. De Los Santos' face looked clean at the end of his fight with Shakur Stevenson. We can't say the same thing for Frank Martin's opponent at all. So, do I want to see Frank Martin, Shakur Stevenson still? Yes, absolutely. With Devin Haney moving up out of the division, 140 pounds, I would definitely like to see it. But Frank Martin's standing on it. He's saying, and you could listen to me or you could listen to whoever. It don't matter to me. I get paid the same. But at the end of the day, Frank Martin, what he's saying, he was cooking. He was making a lot of sense, at least to me. He's saying, I got to go to a rival network that I don't fight on. I got to perform in front of judges that could favor the hometown or home network guy, Shakur Stevenson. So I got to consider everything. And then when I look at, on top of that, fighting on Ops Network, I got to look at it where at the end of the day, I'm not getting paid what I want. On top of that, something got to make sense. And whether people don't want to understand the business of boxing or not, that's on them. But that statement that's truthful, and it makes a whole lot of sense to me. Why would I go, like I tell you guys all the time, don't take an away game. Like even on a smaller scale, even though they're both DAZN fighters, Regis Prograis did that. He fought Devin Haney in his hometown. So Devin had home court advantage as the challenger and made more money and top billing. Then he gets beat, and then now his career's in shambles. You know, you got to make something make sense, because Regis Prograis, if I was him, I wouldn't have fought Devin Haney on his turf if you're the champion. You know what I mean? And even if I did, like the split, we'd have to, the split, I'm the champion. He's a challenger. How does that work? You know what I mean? So I would have worked and negotiated some things in my favor. And I think ultimately that's what Frank Martin is saying here. He's like, something got to make sense. I'm not getting paid what I want, and I got to take all the risk and fight on another network against a good fighter in Shakur Stevenson. So that whole thing didn't add up. Doesn't mean the fight can't happen in the future, but that's what happened in the past. Let me know how I did in the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. Let me know who you think would win. After recent performances with Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, who do you have winning that fight? If they fight in the future, subscribe. And the great thing is, for me, I think the fight is bigger now because Devin Haney moved up and all the belts are relinquished. So it'll be easier for Frank Martin possibly to get his hands on the belt, and then maybe we get a unification, which will make the fight bigger. Boom. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work it.